Brian Phillips here with the Arcus M. Got it set up with my receiver. Stabilizer's on. Stabilizer's off. Okay, fine. Everything is working except the RMS has the same exact problem that I had before. Its retarded, stupid sequencer keeps moving the thing up and down. I've got this test servo here just to prove my point. I'm gonna lay it down. I'm gonna plug it into my bind plug, which is also the auxiliary 2 plug, okay? So I'm gonna plug this in. Just give me a second. I'm gonna put that in there. Okay, so you heard it come to life when I got it plugged in. Now, as I move my slide switch, you see it move. Okay, so real quick, we'll go over to this setup. See auxiliary 2 and auxiliary 4 both moving. Auxiliary 4 is out of range for this system. Doesn't matter. I have that switch tied to auxiliary 2. And this is labeled as gear. See gear? I'm not going to use the gear switch here because the gear switch is this channel. That's why I'm not doing that. That controls the safe, not safe, but auto leveling and stabilization. But it doesn't matter. The point is, this is the servo lead that comes from that servo. That's the gear servo. So just to show you that it's free, it's not very free for one thing. And basically when I plug it in, it doesn't move. So I have to basically unplug that wire from my test, and then I have to try to plug this thing in. It gets really old doing testing for companies that sell this stuff. This is not my job. My job is to buy it and enjoy it, not to fix it when it's brand freaking new. All right, I'm gonna pause it and I'm gonna take that servo out of the pocket. Okay, I just decided I'd pull this control arm off. I'm giving it input. You can hear the middle sweep. Nothing's happening, it's not changing. So here it is. Number 2, Arcus M. Retractable motor doesn't work. The assembly doesn't work. The motor works fine. The stupid retract mechanism is junk. It goes up, it runs. Everybody's happy with that part. But it's like before, the servo brings it up, it presents it, it runs. Then you cut throttle and it just goes back and forth. It is so annoying. And obviously the Chinese directions give you no freaking comprehension of what could possibly going wrong. So now I'm gonna try to tie it to a different channel. And I guess for now, I'm gonna pull the landing gear up and lock them in place because my freaking landing gear servo doesn't work. All right guys, I've got 2 mixes set up. This is a mix for the actual retractable motor servo, which I've hooked up to my auxiliary 2s. So it's just, I added a bunch of points up at the very early part of the throw on my throttle. So with the throttle cut on, that thing still works. So it gives me the ability to test it, okay, which is nice. So I can test it. Now I got my throttle cut on, which stops the feed to the actual ESC. Okay, so throttle comes up, and then it engages. Once it gets to the top, it engages. And it works really nice. I'm holding back on giving it throttle because I don't want the thing to, and you'll have that on ground, I realize. But basically the idea is you just don't want the throttle to engage until you get all the way extended. It's not really that hard to set this up. What's hard to set up is when you have completely bad servos that are shipped with planes, and then when you get completely faulty junk like this, it's extremely frustrating. Anyway, Arcus M ST model, beautiful model, pain in the butt to set up, and it's really not, the plane is fine. It's the sequencer, it's the quality control, it's the same crap that we always gripe about in the RC community. So air brakes work, everything's fine there. Ailerons are fine. Elevator was not attached to the servo, which again, not a big deal. It was easy to fix, but it's just annoying. Why do I have to fix stuff like bad servos? This is dead on arrival on my 2nd unit. So, I mean, I guess I'm hoping Tower Hobbies will send me at least a free servo to replace the one I gotta go put in there now. But infuriating is the easiest way to put it. So just keep watching, guys. I'll give you a setup. Oh, here, I'll show you my throttle setup. Okay, so, all right, so you can see it's just as low as you can get it. Hold on, I want to make sure these things like to buzz a little bit because of the position they get into. It's hard to see because they're inside the wing, just like the ailerons are inside the wing. They're inside of a pocket, and then these are inside of a pocket. So you can't really see them to make sure that they're not touching anything. So if you look here, you've got basically negative 100 and then 100, 100, 100, 100. And what you do is you set up the throw of this in your servo setup. So if you don't have as highly programmable insert or radio system, you may not be able to do this. And then if you go to Throttle Curve, which yes, you could just set up a basic mix. I set 0, 13, 20, 48, and 50. Now the reason you do that is because you want it to slow down before it gets ready to engage. Otherwise you'll just chew the heck out of that. So I'm gonna show you what this looks. Throttle cut is off. So throttle goes up. As the stick moves up, it doesn't start throttle until it's all the way up, because once it's all the way up, it disengages the locks. That's a mechanical action. It's not another servo. So you can see the cross there. So there's 0. And then my other mix has already moved all the way up, and then the throttle starts. And then you cut the throttle, and there you have it. That wasn't that hard. That took me about 5 minutes. What didn't take me 5 minutes is getting one of these shipped to my house, flying it once after spending all the time to put it together, tearing this thing in half to get out a servo, shipping it back, going to the UPS store, all that's involved, and then basically waiting another week, well, I think it was a full week to get this thing. And then just to find out it's got a different problem. That's why I expect Tower Hobbies, Horizon Hobby, you know, E-Flight, all the different companies that do this, the Hobby Kings of the world, the Supreme Hobbies. If you send us a $150 plane and you got $17 of cost in it, and it's bad, just ship me another one, and then I can steal one of these out of the one that was sitting on the ground that was broken. This is the way warranties work. Just would be better is if we didn't have to use them, guys. We don't care. We don't want to bust your balls. We just want the stuff that we bought to work. Super annoying. Anyway, now I'm going to get another 9-gram servo. This one says clockwise, probably because they had a less sophisticated radio system than I do with the DX18, which is not surprising in their ready to fly model. So I'm going to go get another servo. This one actually is another servo that works. I was just using it for testing. And I'm going to get it plugged in there, and that's incidentally for the landing gear, so I'll figure that out and we'll go from there, I guess. Thanks for watching, guys. Sorry about the angry videos, but that's life in the big city when you deal with cheap crap.